I recorded this video to share a little bit about my financial coaching journey, introduce, my backstory, a little bit about what got me into coaching, and celebrating some of the wins I've had recently. I've gotten quite a few questions on, some of the changes that I've had throughout the process, maybe some of the lessons I've learned and the mistakes that I've made. And so I recorded this video with a couple other coaches just to hopefully share my progress and my knowledge. And if it can even help you have one mental breakthrough, then I feel like I did my job. Really, I started this YouTube channel as a way to not only document my financial coaching progress and some of the insights I've been gaining throughout, the past few months and hopefully throughout the years. Um, I just wanted to have a library of resources for you. If you're a financial coach or another coach, a life coach, then I hope some of the content I talk about is relevant to your practice. Yeah, but in this video, I'm going to talk about the three mental breakthroughs I had going through my financial coaching journey, as well as I would say probably also the three biggest mistakes that I've made along the way that if I can go back in time, I would redo it. So the internet for the Zoom meeting was pretty bad. So the audio I think went through fine, but the video is pretty choppy. So if you're a podcast listener, hopefully this will be just right for you. My name is Teddy. I'm a financial coach through Dave Ramsey Preferred Coaching Network, and I've started my coaching journey back in technically it was January of 2023. I came across an ad on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh, let me check out this webinar." So I completed the program around March, but I did not do anything with the business. It just kind of sat in the back of my mind, and probably for like 6 months, 7 months. And it was, yeah, around July, August, I was like, I need to do something. I spent the money to go through this training, and I have a passion for it. Clearly, I love personal finance, and I started pouring back into the business, trying to understand the business world. So my background is social work. I'm a social worker. I've worked with homeless services, psychiatric care, um, child welfare, different kind of things like that. And I've always, felt like there's something missing in the work I was doing. Don't get me wrong, I love social work, but I wasn't ever in a professional capacity to talk about finances or at least be respected like an expert in the field. So when I came across financial coaching, I was like, this is social work copy and pasted to personal finance, to people's lives. And that's where all, the passion came from. And whenever I was going into the business side of things, I was spitballing everything, seeing what stuck and what didn't stick, posting on social media, trying to, make my business cards and have conversations with people. And it was like super awkward. I try to get into the YouTube space a little bit too. I'll probably send out a link to the video. I took it off public and it's unlisted because I was so embarrassed by how I was on those videos. But it really just goes to show like a lot can happen when you just continue doing it day to day. But yeah, I was gonna plug at the end, but I'll just mention it now. So I do have a YouTube channel for personal finance stuff. A lot of it is for resources for my FPU classes I coordinate. But since I've been getting questions about the coaching side of things and my journey, I actually created a second YouTube channel mainly to document the journey, document some of my breakthroughs and mistakes that I've made so that hopefully y'all aren't making the same ones. And hopefully it's a little dialed in and like very specific to I'm a financial coach. Here are my barriers. So here's probably the same barriers you're going to go through. And really just have it be a library of information. And kind of what I was thinking about when I was thinking about this call, I feel like some of the things that may be valuable to you all is if I cover like three of the major breakthroughs I had going into coaching or like growing the practice. And probably like also talking about three of the mistakes that stick out to me the most. And kind of give some background. Like I said, I technically started back in January of 23. Started putting more work into it in July, and finally signed on to Ramsey Preferred Coaching around September. I did not realize how many resources were available through RPC. And it was a couple months in, a friend of mine was saying, hey, like start going to these workshops. They're really great. They got a lot of really great information. and it just snowballed from there. Um, a lot of the things that I had to overcome in terms of confidence was challenging, but I'll definitely talk about that a little bit in kind of the three turning points or three breakthroughs that I had. So on the Facebook group, I posted that this month, I the gross revenue I had was 2,600, which is the most I've ever collected in a month. And since then, I was talking to another client, and they paid the remainder of the coaching program they signed up for. So coming this next week, whenever that cash is collected, it'll be a gross revenue of 4,100, which is absolutely insane to me. Like the idea that I ever made more than $50 a month doing this is just like a dream. And it feels a little surreal. And it's kind of like all the work over the past year is kind of paying off. Um, Anything like this, sometimes the sales are up, sometimes the sales are down, but it's a milestone, and I was definitely really happy about that. You probably also, well, I'll talk about it in a bit. Um, so yeah, I think we'll just talk about the three key like breakthroughs I had. Hopefully, this kind of inspires you to, push what you think is possible when it comes to running your own business. Like I said, I have no business background. All the business stuff I learned was from YouTube and from the RPC program, like self-taught, all this stuff. And another thing that I always struggle with confidence wise is I'm 24. Like, how are people supposed to come to me and I'm like half their age, or I'm like 10 years younger? Like, how can they trust my, information, right? And had to work through a lot of that, going through just trial and error of different conversations and navigating those conversations with clients and even with coaches. A lot of people definitely challenged me in great ways. And groups like this where you can walk alongside other coaches that are in your same shoes, or even just a few steps ahead of you, they kind of see the path forward. And hopefully, at the end of this call, if you guys have some of those questions, that this can be kind of a space where maybe you can kind of have those same breakthroughs. But the first breakthrough I had was really the confidence to put myself out there as a coach and then charge what I'm worth. Um, I always had a struggle thinking, like, how can I charge people who don't have enough money for themselves at the end of the month? And that was always like a struggle. So I always focused on being like the budget minded coach, like affordable, but the breakthrough was that, like, a lot of the clients I had early on, I offered it for free. I paid FPU for them. I was coaching them for free. So really, I was losing money and losing time talking with these clients. And this is just an estimate, but I might have coached like 10 people for free. And do you want to guess how many of them ghosted me? All 10 of them ghosted me. It's because, free, like the actual value of what I was offering was way more than free, but to them, that's all the buy in that they had. So as soon as something else, a higher priority than free every hour, like $0 an hour, they're gonna take that. It's you know the work I'm doing is on the background, and I'm just kind of like a charity. And so, really, the biggest breakthrough I had to stop running financial coaching like it's a charity and needed to focus like it's a business. And you obviously, if you're in coaching as a ministry, as the charity, like, then do that, but don't halfway do a charity in business. Like, it just won't work. And that's kind of like, one of the breakthroughs I had, and be able to articulate the worth that I had as a financial coach. Like, if I'm charging someone $2,000 to work with them for 3 months, if you just have the sticker price, it sounds like a lot of money. But when you outline what that $2,000 will do in their life, it'll give them absolute clarity over budgeting. Like the way my programs are set up, it'll give them clarity on why they overspend. It'll, build the hope that they may be lacking. A lot of people are pessimistic when it comes to their money and thinking that student loans are always going to be around and things like that. But when someone is really there challenging you to like change and think different, that's, I think, one of the coolest things to witness and experience, because I've experienced that as a coach. But yeah, the second breakthrough I had was really setting uncomfortable timelines and uncomfortable goals. In the Facebook group, I posted, you probably can see it, these giant boards right here. Um, I started off with this one. This one's 3 by 4 feet. And then this glass whiteboard is 4 by 6. So it's like taking up most of this wall. And I would write down my goals, as cheesy as it sounds. Um, I've never been much of like a vision board person, or write down my goals and stuff, but I really challenged myself. I was like, here, like, I'm gonna mark the day when I made my first dollar. I'm gonna mark the day that I made my first $100, and just keep doing that. Like, I'm gonna mark the day when I reached that $2,000 in a month, or $4,000 in a month, which, you know, that was just a few months ago. I never thought I would actually do that within this year. And honestly, getting that first yes and getting those first few dollars is the hardest, because you're battling all the confidence issues. Um, my very, very first dollar was made from a commission on a TikTok item that I got, like, I promoted, and someone had, it's a dual monitor, like a second monitor, and I got $4 commission for that. The only thing is TikTok never paid me out, so I never actually got that dollar. But a couple months later, I signed my first client, technically first client, which was my brother. But my actual first client was just a few weeks after that. And then since then, just really stacking the skill set and all that. But yeah, some of those uncomfortable goals, like my uncomfortable goal that I'm setting right now, was to finish producing this course I was working on by the end of the month. And all this writing up here is the brainstorming that I did, and a full, course that I can monetize and sell and all that stuff. But I thought this would take forever, and really pushing myself. I need to get it done by May 1st. And this past week, I finished recording all the videos. I have the workbook. I have the site mostly set up. I just need to edit the videos and do some refining stuff. And so it's becoming reality. And same thing with those milestones for the monthly revenue. I never thought it was possible, but here I am, and I'm definitely grateful and blessed to be in this position. So yeah, like the my next milestone, or like my biggest goal really for this next year, is whatever I'm doing with this business part-time, I want the net profit of the business to equal my pay in my W-2 job, which is like insane to me. Like, how can I have this side business that I'm doing part-time or almost full-time in a lot of ways, like match my already secured job that I have a degree for, um, to do this, kind of like bootstrap it. But if I, just keep seeing the steps forward and keep moving forward, and see that, like, okay, I cracked a $4,000 month this month, maybe I could do a 5 next month, and then hopefully I can get to an $8,000 month, um, in September. Like, my goal is September to have an $8,000 month, and after taxes, all that stuff would be net the same as what I'm getting paid for my W-2. But I, like, my social work background can't even imagine making anything more than 70 grand a year. And being in this business and like understanding that, like, people exist in the 100 to 200 plus income range and still have issues with their money, it really goes to show, like, there's such a big market out there for financial coaches. And if you're able to articulate your value and really just reach them, you can do a lot with, like, just changing their lives, which is really why we're all in it. The money is just the symptom of it, but it's a symptom of the life change you're able to make in the clients' lives. But yeah, my last breakthrough kind of goes off that last one, the brain dumping and writing, and really just building that vision for the business. Like I said, when I started, I had zero idea what I was doing. I just wanted to help people, and I had no tangible outcome I was looking for. And so I did some brain dumps and really just vision, like, if I, if this is my career, like if I'm switching from social work and doing this full time, what do I need to do to make that happen? Like, if I want to make $8,000 a month, what do I need to do to get to that point? And I'll show you. I have this little journal that I ended up, I call it investing, but it was a $7 journal. It's not like big money or anything, but I wrote down the revenue goals that I want to reach. And I never thought of writing anything higher than $8,000 a month. But I thought, let me challenge myself. If I had to make $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, what do I need to do to get there? And it seems impossible to even think like that. Um, when I could find this page, I actually added it even further than that. And y'all will probably think I'm absolutely delusional, but it's kind of one of those areas like you have to even like dream the impossible, and if you miss it, at least you're almost there. So I don't know if you can see it, but um I got monthly revenue milestones that I got. So the first dollar I made in November, the first 100 was made in February, the first 1,000 was made in February, the first month that I crossed 2,000 was this month, and then in this next week it's going to be 4,000, which like I said, I'm super blessed to even be able to do that. But I had it going all the way to $35,000 a month, which is like $400,000 a year. And like that number is insane to me. People make that money, but like for me, a little bitty social worker person, to even come close to that um, is very hard to imagine. But I see people do it, and if they can do it, I can do it too. And I wrote it all the way up to 500,000, which is like way, way out there. That's $6 million a year. Whether that happens, I don't know when that'll be, but I'm obviously gonna have to like get a team and all that stuff together. But yeah, like it. One of the things that when I shared those things with people who aren't in the coaching space, like friends, family, they all thought I was crazy. Like my dad, after the first year of doing this coaching stuff, he said, you haven't made any money in your first year. Like you should just give it up and whatever. And I said, I'm going to make money this year. And he was like, I bet you're not going to make a single dollar this year, 2024. And I was like, all right, I'll show you. I'll literally show you that I'll do it. 2 weeks later, I signed the first client, $900. And then about a month or so later, next client, another couple of weeks later, another client. And so now I'm actually like living it out, proving that this is legit. Um, this is kind of an aside too, but one of the other instances that I had where I kind of had to fight an uphill battle is I was in another coaching program. It was like a kind of like a free workshop, and they had pitched their coaching offer, and I just didn't have the cash to invest in their program. It was a $3,000 investment in the program, and he was like, "You're a financial coach, but you can't even invest in yourself. Like you're a fraud." And he blocked me, kicked me out of the group, and all this stuff. And I was like, that hurt. Like I'm literally here trying to grow my business, and the person that's supposed to help me kick me down. And the ironic thing is, during that seminar, he said, when you get your first hater, that means you're doing something right. And I kind of snapped back. I was like, I didn't think my first hater would be the coach I was looking up to. But yeah, I mean, it's really that perseverance and really focusing on the journey and having fun with it was really what kept me going. And also seeing the change that I'm having in conversations and things like that. But yeah, I want to share kind of like the three mistakes that I made that, held me back for the longest time when it came to building the coaching practice. Um, and I definitely noticed this because it seems like over the past few months, it's been exponential growth. Like that first year felt like I was hardly moving the needle at all. But after I got that first client, it was snowball. And now it's like a newfound confidence. And so some of the biggest mistakes I made, the first one is really just not networking sooner. I was trying to do it alone. I didn't even know any other coaches, even though they had those coaching development calls in the training program. I just attended them. I never really talked to anyone after that. Or even local networking. There's like chamber of commerces, there's like business people nearby that you can talk to. And I didn't really do that until a few months ago. And I wish I did that a lot sooner. The other mistake that I made is really um, being afraid to invest in myself as a natural saver. I'm like, I gotta save all the pennies. Like this is a really expensive program to put money towards. And it was really hard to change my mind about this is not an expense. This is an investment in my career as a financial coach. One of the things that I'm reminded of is, my bachelor's degree cost $35,000. And what am I doing with that? Making 60 grand a year. if I had $35,000 that I could invest in myself for financial coaching, like the return on that is so much higher. It's like ridiculous, but there's also a lot of risk to it. But yeah, like I said, I completed FCMT at the beginning of last year, and I was too afraid to invest in Ramsey Preferred Coaching. Like it was $1,000 for the year. I'm like, dang, that's $1,000. I should be able to just do it on my own. And then nothing happened. I started trying to do it on my own from July until September. Nothing happened. So I was like, let me look back into this because I really need some help now. And then when I did that, it was like a switch. Like it was completely different in terms of how I thought, and just becoming the type of person that invests that much into myself. That also gave me the confidence to um, be the person to offer that kind of investment for someone else. So, like before, I never thought about charging anyone more than $50 or $100 per hour. But the last client I signed on, it was $2,100 for a 3-month program. So that's $700 a month. Like that is insane to me. And there's like different ways that I even got to that, being able to like navigate those consultations and things like that, which I could definitely do a video on if anyone's interested. But it was a lot of like failures, a lot of no's to even have the confidence to offer something like that, or even feel like I'm worthy of that, value in someone else's life. Um, the last one, it's a little more tactical. The other two were kind of like intangible, but this one really was a game changer for me. So for the longest time, I would focus on, I need to design my business cards the right way. Like it has to be the right color, the right font, and all this stuff and design. And same thing with our website. The website's got to look good, clean, got to add all the pictures and stuff in there. But none of these things actually were directly related to revenue, or like any like paying clients. And so one of the biggest breakthroughs is really just focusing all my attention on the activities that produce the income. And then when I have the income, then I could spend the time or the energy on all the other stuff. That was like, it seems so straightforward, but it's easy to get like shiny object syndrome, or they say it's easy to get stuck in the getting ready to get ready cycle, like setting up the LLC. Or I don't mean to call you out on this one, Stella, but it's really something that we all struggle with. You know, having the business name, coming up with a color scheme, coming up with like the payment processor and the website, and all this stuff, which is it's important. It'll come with the business. Like it's hard to have a business without all this stuff, but you can also start getting clients with none of it. Literally, if you just have a phone number and a way to collect payment, that's all you need to get started. And it really is that simple. And all the other stuff you can work out along the way. Like you don't have to have a super fancy contract for them to sign, or all like this program built out. Like the idea of me writing a course but never crossed my mind until I was getting a lot of the same questions, and it just it became an easy answer for me to do something a little more scalable. Same thing with YouTube. I was like, I would love to do YouTube videos, but I've never done it. But I've gotten so many of the same questions. It's just more efficient with my time to record one video and then send it out, just like kind of what we're doing here. Um, but yeah, so the three mistakes being the fear of really networking and postponing that, the fear of investing in myself, and I guess really taking that risk on, and then lastly that not staying focused on the most important activities, which are the things that produce the money. Because when you don't have money in your business, you don't really have a business. You're just giving your time over and over again, whether it's to a client or to a website. And yeah, so that's pretty much in a nutshell. Hopefully, y'all got value from that. Yeah, I'm open to kind of what questions y'all have, or what kind of struggles you're going through with your businesses and stuff.
Well, thanks for all of that. I think that was helpful. I think the things you have talked about, we've probably all experienced in some capacity. So it's nice to know that there is some revenue at the end of that, so to speak. I think that's a really interesting point you made at the beginning of how when you first were getting going, you were basically losing money. And yet you had almost a dozen clients ghost you. That's
Mhm.
That's incredible. I mean, I understand, I think in every single one of the courses, and I think in every one of the phone calls I've been in, whoever is hosting it, the Ramsey coach talks about, know your value. People attach valuable, or what is it? They attach value to what they prioritize, and how we should charge. Even I've even heard several of them say, even if it is a ministry, charge something and then just put that money in the offering plate, or wherever. Um, and I think that is one that is difficult if, if you're dealing with somebody who is really in financial dire straits. My impulse is like, oh, no, let me just help you. But I also do understand the more pragmatic people will respect the process and also what you have to say more if you do charge them. So I think that's a really good point and a good reminder on it.
Yeah, and I do have a little, I guess analogy, or like it's not really a story, so it is a little rough. So I apologize. But if you think about it, people who are on the streets, who have no job, who have no place to live, they'll find the money to get whatever they need. If they're on drugs, they'll find the money to get their drugs. If they,
Mhm.
if they need food or need transportation, they'll find a way. And in a lot of ways, that's like us too. Whether you're making $1,000 a month or $100,000 a month, like, really, whenever something becomes a priority, you'll find a way to pay for it. It's just a matter of asking, like, oh, you don't think you can afford it? What can you do in order to afford it?
Mhm.
And not a lot of people ask that question,
Right.
unfortunately.
But just like Miss Mindy was saying and stuff, pretty much everything that you mentioned is practically everything that I was going through and stuff. So it does make it, I guess, a little more inspiring, so to speak, and stuff. Because yeah, when I completed the master's training for Ramsey and stuff, I had all these things. I was like, okay, well, shoot. I mean, if I'm already teaching, I've done the personal finance. I can just do the little modules there and stuff. Put it like on Google Classroom, and then probably use that as the whole hosting an FPU, and then being able to attract clients through that route and stuff. But eventually, with the pausing, the denial, the doubts, and all that stuff, kind of crept in and stuff, and which kind of puts me where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I was like, I think we're all either there or been there or
Yeah.
whatever, So, yeah, and I know Teddy, you and I have talked a little bit, and I'm a social worker as well. At least I was. I retired last October, so this is kind of my second dance, I guess, because I thought I was ready to retire, but as a social worker, you're always ready to give back and to do something else. So um, this is kind of my second curtain call, I guess. I'm just not ready to totally quit helping people. So yeah, I think, the shiny objects get to you and doing all that. And
So, like I said, the internet was bad and it cut off the Zoom meeting. So, I wasn't able to fully answer all the questions that we had on the call. But really, I just wanted to close this out saying that, wherever you are in your journey, just continue trusting the process. So start focusing on those growth areas, find the bottlenecks in whatever part of the business, and just address that. So, if you found this helpful, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. This will help me know, what content is relevant for you. I'm planning to probably have other videos, maybe about like consultations, marketing, maybe some like mental mindset stuff when it comes to having confidence, charging, things like that. I really just do enjoy being able to share my knowledge, share the thousands of hours of YouTube that I watched in order to come to these realizations. So, yeah, and I don't really like to say this, but a lot of people do ask, so I'm just going to put it out there. If you do want to work with me as your coach to kind of help expedite your financial coaching journey, so it takes you, half the time or 30% of the time that it took me to learn these lessons and finally get that $4,000 a month, yeah, reach out to me. I'm going to put my consultation link down below, as well as my phone number and email if you want to reach out. But yeah, I hope that I can be a support for you, and hopefully it encourages you to continue growing in your financial coaching journey. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy the videos that I have for you on this YouTube channel.